What's up, everybody? Just finished up a podcast with Full Court Classics, Corby of Full Court Classics. It was super fun. We actually recorded it live on IG. If you tuned in for that, thank you very much. We had 140 people in there, and it was a lot of fun. A lot of good questions, a lot of good heckles, and yeah, all good times. I've known Corby for a long time. He's been in the game. He kills it, curates the most amazing Instagram. His store is super dope, transforms it every week with new product. I've never even been there, but I know because the internet tells me. Okay, I'm not even going to get into vintage news today. I want to keep this chills. Let's get right into the episode with Full Court, Corby, all about digging dead stock and living that vintage life.
Vintage clothing by the rack, yeah. Just check out my Insta, how you gon' argue with that? Everything you see, I manifest. I'm an architect, I think I'ma run it back. We got vintage clothing by the rack. Just check out my Insta, how you gon' argue with that? Everything you see, I manifest. I'm an architect, I think I'll have some of that.
Okay, we're just going to get into this. So I'm just going to intro this here. I've been trying to get you on a podcast here for a minute. So thank you, my G, for coming on, dude.
You're welcome, man. You got to have something to talk about, man. Sometimes I'm just like, so many people doing this, man. I don't know what to talk about for an hour, but when it comes to dead stock, I can talk.
I got your board right here on the wall. Did you notice?
Yes, man. Yes. The Master P. Peter Smollett copy. Shout out my dude, Jared Wright. He did the art. Other owner, Joe, had a lot to do with that, man. That was a lot of work, dude.
I bet it is, man. You guys kill it. See, like, this is something I love about your guys' store is you operate kind of like a skate shop. You operate different than many other vintage stores, dude. You're super curated. Your Instagram page is so pristine and beautiful, and then you put out crazy skate decks. You do collabs with skate artists. Like it's cool shit,
dude. The Cliver thing was crazy, man. Still to this day. And I mean, between us and the 69 people who are in this live right now, we're gonna do another one next year, and it's gonna be mind-blowing. I'm very hyped on it. But just getting that dude to do a graphic was amazing, dude. And that's all because of my childhood boss. He hired me when I was 14 years old at Westside Skate Shop in Tarpon Springs. And yeah, so then he worked for Nike for about 20 years, just under 20 years, and he owns Strangelove Skateboards. So yeah.
Yeah,
that was crazy, man.
So rad. So more about skating. You and your partner Joe, right? You guys run the store together.
Yep.
He's also deep in skate roots, right? He worked for SB for a long time.
He still works for SB. Yep. He still works for SB.
Okay, he is.
Him and I have been skateboarding since the mid '90s. He's a couple years younger than me, but we've been skateboarding for a very long time, man. I mean, I have 3 kids, dude. They're 13, 14, and 15. I run the business, the day-to-day of the business. So I have very little time to skateboard, and it hurts a lot more than it used to just to ride a skateboard these days. But
I know what that's all about, dude. I know what that's like.
Yeah. I try.
So do your kids skate?
My boys are serious fishermen, dude. We live like you could hit a golf ball into the Gulf of Mexico from my front yard. So they fish, dude. They kayak. A lot of their friends have boats. We don't have a boat yet. One day.
Nice.
I got to sell more dead stock so I can buy a boat.
Well, hopefully this podcast will help with that. Okay, so back
Joe's
to
out
skating.
skating right now. That's his
Oh,
wife.
sick. That's so sick. So
That will make sense.
I have a couple of more questions based on skating, but how do you think skating has influenced fashion as of today?
Dude, skateboarding is everything, bro. It's everything. It's art. It's fashion. It's hard as fuck. Like, if you're good at skateboarding, you're probably good at like something else also, because skateboarding is hard, dude.
Totally. Learn a lot of life lessons trying to land tricks.
Yes, dude. Yes. So yeah, I mean, dude, it's just everything to me, dude. It's fashion, it's music, everything, dude.
Yeah,
It's
that's a
the most
very.
important thing on earth, dude.
It's that question
I
is very
feel like
loaded.
it's,
Go ahead.
yeah, for sure. I feel like it's the most influential thing to everything, dude. You know, I really do.
So
Still to this
then,
day,
how
man.
do
I mean,
you
I'll be
feel? Sorry to interrupt, but how do you feel then
no.
about? His name's Lucien Clark, right? This guy that came out with the pro shoe on
Oh
Louis
yeah,
Vuitton.
yeah.
Okay, this to me is kind of this weird pinnacle, not necessarily in a good way, but just a pinnacle of where skateboarding's influence has gotten to, right? It's crazy. There's a pro shoe, a pro skater gets a shoe on Louis Vuitton. Like, what the fuck, man? 2020 is wild. So what are your thoughts on that?
I don't know, dude. The high-end designer shit isn't my thing. I think it's crazy. I think that all has to do with Virgil, dude. I think once Virgil gives all these skateboarders shoes now. They're constantly tagging him, all that. There's my dog, yeah, and my daughter. She pooped. Awesome. Sorry about that. I'm running a family and a podcast at the same time.
Perfect,
Knuckles.
man. Multitasking, dude.
Thank you, baby. So yeah, I mean, that's out of my realm, but I think that Virgil is the only reason why any of that shit happens, dude.
Yeah,
Because he's like the crossover, dude. He wants to be in everything, and he is, and it's amazing, dude. He got to design a Mercedes, bro. I've been saying forever that Supreme needed to make a Mercedes, and then he's the one who did it. I wasn't hyped.
That's sick.
Yeah, dude. I don't think it's actually for sale. I think it's like a kit car. Like, I don't really even know, but yeah, dude, he got to design a Mercedes. It's crazy.
I think it's going to be interesting to see where this goes from now, you know, because they haven't even released a shoe, I don't think. But who's going to buy the shoe? Are skaters going to actually fuck with it? And is it going to become...
Bro, it's probably going to be like a retail, like $500 retail shoe.
Exactly.
You know,
so
like...
you can't go out every 3 months and shit kick a $500 pair of shoes for the average skater, you know?
Dude, nowadays, I mean, that's like entry level, man. It's entry level. Virgil's way overrated. Whatever, bro. I don't know, man. I'm a fan. I don't rock any of his stuff. I've never owned a pair of his shoes, but it will retail for $700 or more. Watch. I'm gonna say between $450 and $550, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Where were we?
I don't know.
I tried to answer.
I saw. No, that's a good answer. I saw Heron Preston. I saw a little video of him the other day. He was skating, so he's culture. He's a skater. And it's like this period, this crossover with the designers. And is your audio on your phone pumping?
What's up?
Is your audio on your phone on? I'm getting like double audio. Make sure it's to zero.
Okay, yeah, it is.
Okay. Well, that's way better. Anyway, yeah.
The OG Deadstock diggers in the live, man.
Who shout him out?
Samuel Snapson, man, owner of Boneyard Chicago. Yeah. Him and Tone started it all for me, and then dudes like Sneaker Mo after me. He's the OG. Oh, Thrift Lord and Tons. I like both them cats. They're both awesome. All right, sorry.
So let's get into this then. So, you just came out of a dig. From what I saw on Instagram, we kind of talked about it, but you you got into somewhere that you've been working on for a long time, and that's kind of important to
6
touch
years,
on.
bro.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's important to touch on when we're talking about Deadstock here, because these things don't just like jump out at you. They don't happen easily. The problem with a lot of these digs and the people that have the digs is that the reason they have them still is because they're kind of like they hoard shit, man. These store owners, like, they have attachment issues attachment issues to this product where they don't want to get rid of it. That's why we end up getting it a lot of times, because they're stuck with it, and then trying to pry it out of their hands is like insane. So
It's a nightmare, dude.
Yeah. Tell us about how this came about.
It was actually through Joe. Joe's the one who found that. I'm not, like I said in the stories and shit, I'm not going to get super specific.
Keep going.
Thrift Lord. Oh yeah, I saw that. 10,000 snapbacks, Thrift Lord.
And by the way, I give Jesse credit for everything. If you ever tune into this shit, I'm always giving Jesse credit.
Hold up. Give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel.
So yeah, that was actually a connect through Joe. And yeah, dude, 6 years, we knew it was there. We know the dude, he knows the dude. And it was 6 years of bothering him. And then, like, when it was all said and done, I ended up pissing him off, like, at the end, and it was super weird. But I'll be going back. That is literally just the surface of it, dude. I mean, there's got to be 400K worth of products plus. I've been trying to add it up since I left, and it's fucking mind-blowing, dude. It's just mind-blowing that somebody would have that much product left over from their previous business. You know what I mean? Dude, every box I opened, it's just sized runs of shit. Like, did you ever put anything out for sale? Like, how does this even exist? How much did you spend?
Yeah.
We're not going to go there.
Some things are sacred. So without giving away too much info, what was this? This was just a store that had that much backstock?
It was a previous store, and they had a Nike account since 1989, dude. A lot of their stuff got ruined in a fire, which is crazy because I've actually heard that story before. Very similar dig with my dude who's commenting, Say Less Fam. He's the owner of Boneyard. I went to his spot like 6 years after they were digging it. And if I remember correctly, their spot was like, had a fire or a flood or something also. And yeah, dude, that's like the second time I've heard from two of the major warehouses I've been to that a lot of the product was ruined, man, which sucks.
That happened to one of our digs downtown LA. We were hitting it for a minute. It was not too long ago, so the stuff wasn't crazy old. But the audio's so fucked. It's like tripping out here. Anyway,
it's fine for me.
We were going there, and then finally, you know, because you go to these places, you buy off the racks, and then they let you go in the basement if you bug them enough. You're lucky. Finally, this guy was like, "Can you let us go in the basement?" And then we hit him up a couple weeks later, and he's like, "Everything flooded out. Had to throw out tons of shit."
What, you said that one was in LA? I remember the last time I was in LA, we went out to dinner, and you were talking about, like, was that the spot you bought like 100,000 pairs of sunglasses from or something?
Oh no, we've been hitting those places for years. There's still lots of sunglasses. Thrift Lord's been buying sunglasses in Texas. There's lots of sunglasses out there, but eventually we cleared out all the good shit. There's not much left. We don't really go to this place anymore.
Bro, I found the craziest bootleg sunglasses I've ever seen in that place, man. It's like these bootleg Gaultier. Like I said, that high fashion shit ain't my shit at all. But however you say that, it's like the original bootlegs of the ones that Supreme just made, whatever, I think it was like last year. They go for like $800. But dude, they're crazy. They're like that thick. They're nuts, man.
How come you never posted pictures of these guys?
I don't post pictures of much, man. I try to
So
keep the feed clean, dude. Oh yeah,
so
JPG. There you go. Like I said, not much.
let's hear what else was there, dude. Run us through the product mix that you got on this last dig.
So there's a ton of urban gear there, dude. Like Pele, Fubu, 555 Soul, like a bunch of stuff that would have been sold in like the mall and like urban stores. That's true. I don't really like to sell that much. Um, but that's probably like the main thing that I'm gonna concentrate when I go back. Because there was a couple dudes overseas, dude, that were just like, I'll buy all that shit. And trust me, dude, like I want this stuff to go overseas. Like it should go from here to there. So everything I keep, I don't have, competition on. But I love to share, dude. I wholesale. I feel like my wholesale packages, I buy wholesale myself, dude. I feel like my wholesale packages are always super on point. I'm super fair. I always include free shit.
I can vouch. I just got a wholesale package like last week. Good shit from another
I take it
Deadstock
seriously,
dig.
bro. Yep. I take it seriously, bro. Like I want to send a package that I would open and be hyped on. So
Yeah, totally. And then you want those repeat customers, man. You don't want to like, it's not a one and done. We're not, you don't get to 10 years, 15 years deep in the business by sending people shit and then they don't return. Right?
Absolutely.
You got to keep people happy.
Absolutely, man. That's why, dude, like I've went into stores, man. Like I'm not going to mention any names. And these are mostly like young kids, who I'm talking about. But I've went into stores, dude. And like I've went into vintage stores that smell worse than thrift shops, man. Like you go into my store, it smells better than my fucking house, dude. Like I got kids, wife, dog, cats, like it smells better than my house and my store, bro. Every single piece of clothing that goes in there, I hand wash myself, dude. Like I take that shit seriously, man. You can take anything off any hanger in my store and put it directly on your body, bro.
I've talked to you about this off camera too, and that shit blows my mind. I'll straight up, I don't wash everything that goes in my store.
Of course.
We wash
no one else does, man.
Yeah, we wash a lot of Frankie, and you're also flipping your store every week to a new curation of product, which to me,
every week, dude.
I've never even been to your store, but I want to go to your store just because of that. My biggest pet peeve in the fucking business is that you go into stores and you see the same shit on the racks. Like, why am I going to go back to your store time and time again and that same shit's on the rack? And I'm like, I've already seen it. I don't need to come back. Gotta flip it.
Yeah, dude. So that's like my biggest thing, dude. Like if you come to my store twice a month, I want you to be like, holy shit, literally nothing is the same. It's insane. Like I try to flip the hats. I try to, dude, every garment. The hats are harder, dude, because like I don't find and buy as many hats as I did when I was younger.
Yeah.
It's just become such a t-shirt game. But dude, like I would say if there's 1,000 pieces for sale in our store at any time, it's switching 2 times a month. Because that's what I do, bro. Like the wholesale, the $1,000 boxes I do, I literally pull shit off hangers, put the hangers down, bring shit from my house, and fill the hangers back up, dude. Like it's stuff that like was only in my store for 14 days or less, man. I don't fuck around, dude. Like
that's super legit, dude. I admire you. I admire the shit out of you for that. Okay, let's get back to digging here. So you've been in this business for I know over 10 years, but when did you start?
2009, I discovered vintage through selling my dad's old Nike shit.
Okay. So when was your first dig then? Do you remember your actual first dig?
2009. It was like early 2009. I was working. I've been selling online, like reselling since I was a kid, dude. Since like my mom was taking me to the post office. Literally, bro. Like post office.
Yeah.
My mom used to be like, I would fill my mom's back seat up with SBs, dude, because I worked at the skate shop. So I would just buy shoes for full price. This was super early on, dude. Westside was the first East Coast skate shop that had an SB account. And that's because of Nick, dude, who's the OG who hired me, who then we got the Strange Love deck because of him. So that's like my fake real dad, you know, like he's like 10 years older than me. He's like my real uncle, but not by blood.
Yeah. So you kind of learned like the ropes of like having a store, operating a store through him, right?
Yes, I worked at the skate shop for 11 years.
Nice.
Yeah. So I learned everything through that. The importance of like merchandising, the importance of flipping inventory, the importance of all of that shit, dude. You want a customer to walk in your store every time and be like, damn, this is crazy. I have dudes come over from Japan, you know, when pre-COVID, obviously. I was having dudes come over to Japan like 4 times a year, and they were mind blown how different it was those 4 times a year, because they would come like different seasons, you know?
Yeah.
And I was just like, dude, this is like twice a month I flip this much. And they're just like, insane, you know, through.
That shit's so legit, dude. And
Thank
you
you,
know,
bro.
like I said, that's what keeps people stoked, man. That's what keeps me stoked. Like I said, there's straight up stores that I won't go see because they don't flip it like that. Or I mean, you either have to do what you do, or you just have to sell enough that you're restocking so consistently that it's like when the person comes back, it's all fresh anyway, right?
And a lot of people do that, man. It blows my mind, bro. So Joe, the other owner of Full Court, lives in Austin, and he always goes to Lo-Fi Austin. And dude, he's just like, I sat here for an hour, and there's more people that walk in this store in an hour than walk into our store in 6 months. Like, and we do pop-ups there pre-COVID. And it's just insane, dude. Like, I mean, I've worked retail my whole life. I literally don't know anything else, but it's still mind-blowing to me, dude. Like when we do like Nike days where like we'll drop 100 Nike pieces in our store, we'll get a shitload of people in Full Court, but nothing like these people in cities get, dude. My dudes in Chicago, they're in stores insane.
Yeah, man. I feel that. Like Vancouver's a pretty sleepy town. Toronto, we can pack it out when we do drops. And we used to do drops there anyway. But it's not the same as like LA or any of these stores. And you talk to you're talking about your homies in Texas, right? Lo-Fi, is that what you said?
Yeah.
So
yeah, Lo-Fi.
Their model is like straight buy, sell, trade, right? Or is it just a store?
Dude, they're very good at buying product, bro. I don't even know what they do, but they flip a lot. And it's not like me, bro. It's not like they're doing, you know, $1,000 mixed boxes so they can just buy more and flip the store. It's like, no, they sell 200 garments plus every week and day just to customers. It's like mind blowing, dude. I feel like
those buy sell trade models, you know, where they're getting so many people in to trade and sell. They have a higher turnover rate because you're just getting more people through the door. I think that's part of the draw of doing that business model is because
Sean's model, man.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all Sean, dude.
It was definitely around in the sneaker game, and he just brought it into the mix, right?
He put it all together, man.
Yeah.
Anybody, if you can't thank that dude, and I'm older than him, bro, and like, if you can't thank that dude, you suck. If you sell vintage and can't thank that dude, you suck. Straight up.
Yeah, you got to appreciate what he's done for the business, and probably half the people on this live are in the vintage game because they saw his YouTube show or some shit. So
Jacob knows.
Straight up. We're talking pre-round 2 days here. We're talking the digging days. The OG days of digging. So get into like your real first dig and like, how'd you come up on it? What was it?
The first time I ever came up, dude, was local. And this was like my first, I was digging dead stock, you know, buying from flea markets. A dude has 10 hats. Then you say, hey man, like you got any more? Then he brings 10 more the next weekend, blah, 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 blah. That's little shit. The first time I hit big was local, and it was like 150 rap tees right before that book dropped.
Damn.
Yeah, and it was like the crazy ones, dude. Wu-Tang ones, Ghostface ones, Tupac, Lost Boys, a shitload of R. Kelly's with Space Jam on the back. And anyways, it was around 150 rap tees, 100 sports tees, and like 300 hats, dude. And I was young then. I literally spent every dollar that was in my bank account with my rent due the next week to buy everything that I could buy, dude. So that was my first major one, dude. My girl was there. She still remembers it. She still has a t-shirt from that dig. I sold all mine over the years to go on vacations and
you've told me this, you've never posted any of those photos, right? Or have you, from that dig?
I'll be honest with you, bro. I mean, you guys are lucky because you thought to take photos of the 10,000 snapbacks, all those polo t-shirts y'all found. I remember all that shit, Drew. You better believe it. I remember everybody's finds. Those are all epic finds, man. I've always been like, I don't take photos of my face, and you know, I've always been like a undercover dude, man. Like,
yeah, I was gonna mention that in the intro. I needed to say that in the intro too, but this might be the first time anybody's seeing your face right here, right now, live.
First time was when me and my girl were in Atlanta digging, and I was rocking a really cool Freaknik shirt. I was having a super good time with her, and the first time was me and her in a photo together. But other than that, I think that's the only photo of myself on my feed, bro.
And it's
6,000
so funny. It's so funny. Memory popped up, or Piefer posted a memory of like outside of varsity, and you're like, you got like a magazine in front of your face or some shit, and I'm like, oh yeah, classic.
Yeah, that's me, dude. That's me. So I've straight, and I learned this from an OG homie. I'm not super proud of it, thinking about it now and whatever. I've went in so many vintage stores and straight up ghosted people, like not even introduced myself. Like, I don't want people to know. Now it doesn't fucking matter, bro. I don't care. I'm old, and the game is fucked without me fucking it. Sorry to curse.
You're outed, buddy. You're outed right now. So
I think my kids are watching this, so I'm sorry to curse, but that's where I'm at with it. It's like, I'm still not gonna run around smiling on my Instagram and taking photos of me playing golf and shit. But yeah, whatever. I'll talk on the internet.
Yeah. Okay, so back to digging.
Why don't you want people to know? Because I ghost people. You can't know. I'm just playing.
Okay. Thrift Lord said something about, so yes, shout out Jesse. Jesse did like most of the digs for Effers and Frank back in the day, especially the snapback digs, because Jesse was East Coast, Toronto, and he was digging a lot through like Detroit, where else? All over the East Coast, New York. His first big dig was something called S&A, and I'm even going to say the name right here because you can go there. There might still be shit there. S&A, and it was in Brooklyn, and I went there the second or third time they went there because we were randomly on a trip, and there was still stuff there the third time we went there. And this is something to know. So that first trip to S&A, this guy, it was like a sneaker store, but he had all the brands like Dior, Starter, Nike, Troop, Adidas, all the urban shit, Carl Kanai, Cross Colors, like a full mix of sneakers, garments, tracksuits.
I love that stuff.
Everything you could think of. And I was talking to Jess today, talking about your dig and how your dig is sick. Like you got so much classic good Nike that's so on point for what's happening in fashion right now, right? But a lot of that shit we would have passed in those early days because we would have been like, this is just like a small swoosh logo tee, which is dope, but it wouldn't have been something we're like eyeing on. We were really going for that earlier stuff, that more wild style shit. You know what I mean?
Like gray tag stuff.
Yeah, like we would have taken.
That's the stuff that he said, because this dude knows, but that's the stuff that he said he lost in the fire was a bunch of gray tag stuff, man. And if this dude says a bunch, I'm sure it was like hundreds of boxes, dude.
Yeah,
because
crazy.
I probably went through 500 boxes while I was there, and there was probably 1,000 more to go through, dude. That I was just like, I had one day to do it. My girl's going through nursing school right now, so I got to take care of my kids a little bit more than normal. I had one day to do it, and I was loading my car up and driving home the next day. So, yeah.
So, yo,
I'm going back though, man. The next time I go is no games, dude. I'm filling up a U-Haul and driving it back. It will be the craziest
dude.
shit anyone's
I'm
ever
excited
seen.
for that. Boneyard says Jesse gave him S&A. See, we spread the love around, guys.
I do too. I spread the product around, man.
I'm not saying you don't. Totally. I know you hit me up the other day and you were like, we got this dig and it's still got thousands and thousands and thousands of pieces there. And you were like, let's do it. So like, yeah, fucking spread the love around, man. You're doing it. Obviously.
That's actually a different spot, man. That's a spot on the East Coast. And we're going to do business out of that spot, dude. I'm going to go there later in this year. They were the main distributors of Deadstock, or I'm sorry, not Deadstock, of bootleg on the East Coast. So if you bought a rap tee from Miami, Florida to Maine, they printed it.
Yeah.
That's how major these dudes are. And we're going to do a lot of business out of that spot.
Okay, so
close up on the Navy.
One thing I will talk about here is everyone wants to come up on a Deadstock lick, right? This stuff it's out there. Obviously it's out there. We know it's out there. But people don't realize, like, it's not that simple to find. It's super hard to find. Like we talked about before, a lot of these people who have it don't want to fucking part with it. Like you'll go into some stores that have shit from 80s and 90s that they're charging like original prices on, or sometimes even more. And you're like, you're going to die with this product. Literally, I've said that to people. I'm like, do you want to die with this product? Because you will if you don't come down.
Yeah, I've said that to people too, bro. I've said that to people too.
And then the second thing about this is, no, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Second thing.
I'm just going to say that if you want to fuck with this and you want to try to find shit, you got to get your paper up, because you can't go into a place with a Deadstock dig and be like, I want to spend $50. I want to spend $100. I want to spend $500. You got to go in and be like, I'm going to spend, 10 racks right now. And I'm going to come back and spend another 10 racks, so that they take you seriously. And that's how you can potentially get prices down, but potentially get anything in the first place.
Yeah, if you're a broke boy, man, and you're used to buying from the bins, nothing against people who buy from bins and people who want to pay $1 for everything, you are not going to dig Deadstock, man. Like, you got to have, to be serious about shit, you got to have $10,000 in liquid on you. You got to be ready to spend $10,000. Especially from anybody who matters. Buying Deadstock from a flea market, buying Deadstock from an old store that has a sale rack, that's fine. But if you want to fill your car up, dude, if you want to drive U-Hauls across the country, you better have some paper, man. So I've talked to some OGs about this, and we came to the conclusion that the only piece of advice I will give to the youth is you got to have some balls, and you got to go to parts of town that you don't want to go to. If that part of town caught on fire because somebody threw a Molotov cocktail through the post office, that's where you go. You don't go to where the people play golf, man.
Yeah,
You
you ain't gonna
go
find
to
this
the
in the
ghetto.
mall. Got to go to the hood.
Actually, dude, I found quite a bit of dead stock in malls. I'll give that away too because that's nothing. But I found quite a bit of dead stock in old malls. Granted, pre-COVID, etc. But I think that there's still malls out there. And if you
Actually, you're
find
right.
any dead stock by me
I've
giving
found
you
it
any of
in
this,
I found some in like Pittsburgh, in some malls actually, but they're always it's like you got to go to that part of town that's sketch, and like straight up. Jesse always did those digs in like Detroit and Chicago and all those places, and he would go to some rough hoods, man. Like how burned down
bro.
houses, like all over the place.
I've been to parts of cities, dude. Like that's the first thing I do when I go to a city is where's the oldest place? Where's the hood? Like I'll ask people, dude, where's like the bad part of town? And I'll just drive through that shit and look, dude. And I mean, I've like been with my girl and my girl will be like, you can't, what are you doing? I'm just like, man, it's all good.
Yeah.
And
It's
I've never
funny.
had a problem, dude. But you got to have confidence. You can't be a soft ass person and do that shit. You know what I mean? You gotta be one with the streets, dude. And if you're not one with the streets, man, stay thrifting, dude.
And you gotta like this shit takes time. You literally have to cruise. You gotta just get in your car and drive. Hit neighborhoods.
Absolutely, man.
You just look, and then be ready to like dip out and go check out some spots. And then it's never sitting on the rack. It's always that conversation. Somebody said before in the comments like you gotta build rapport with these people, and that's super true, especially for those people who have that hoarding mentality who want to die with the shit. Like they're gonna give it to the person they like, the person who's like, I don't know, making their day.
9 times out of 10, really like 9.9 times out of 10 also, it's ethnic people. I've bought very, 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 very little off of white people, dude. It's like people who live in that area. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Totally, man. We've had all kinds of digs off every kind of person, but you're right. Like this, the polo dig, the polo sport one that we got here in our own town.
Yes.
On years ago. So that one was brought to us by a friend. And that's how a lot of this shit happens. A lot of it, because we don't live in the States, we live in Canada. So we would check on our trips and we'd drive around. But 9 times out of 10, someone would hit us up and be like, I got a spot. And we even used to put this out there. Like, I'm going to put this out there right now. If you have a dig and you want a finder's fee and you want to hit me up, I'll come and check it. And that's what we used to do.
I've done that.
Exactly. And then kids will be stoked because they get to come to the dig with you because they can't afford it. They're going to buy one hat a day, right? Where we'll come in and do that big buy. So that polo dig, it was so weird, man. It was like in a freaking karate store, like a martial arts store where you bought like punching bags and gloves and like all this shit. And then they had a couple pieces of polo like out on the floor. And then homeboy went in there randomly because he's like lived near there, walking by, saw this shit. Turns out that they had a store in the 90s that had a polo account that was selling to tourists who would come off the cruise ships. So it was like such a weird roundabout way that we found that shit. And it was just sitting in this back room for like 20 years collecting dust,
I think probably my funniest one is I found a bunch of shit in an old tool store. They sold tools, like crazy, like all over print NASCAR shirts, like all this Snap-on gear, which at the time, like that was like the first wave of NASCAR t-shirts. But oddly enough, that first dig I was telling you about was like right when wrap tees were hitting. I found all those NASCAR shirts right when NASCAR shirts were originally hitting. And now, I mean, the mid-90s Nike gear, right when that shit's hitting. I mean, you got people.
You knocked that on the fucking head, dude.
I don't know how that happens, bro. That's luck. Finding the dead stock isn't luck, but that is luck, dude. And I've just been lucky a few times, man.
I got to shout out. Okay, so I said my friend on the last one. Somebody said it in the comments. Freaky P was the homie who put me on that polo dig, put me and Jesse on that polo dig. And he's the homie that we've done multiple t-shirt designs with. He's a DJ and an artist. And he's the one who does all the crazy. He did like the Raptors bootleg rap tees and shit like that. Good dude. Anyway,
Oh
shout out
yeah,
50P.
for sure, for sure.
Uh,
All right.
okay,
What
what
else
was
you
your
got?
thought?
I can't remember. It doesn't matter.
Okay. So did you dig snapbacks in those early days? Were you big in 2008 into snapbacks, or did you start with clothes? Personally, I've always liked digging for clothes more than hats. I found hats a bit monotonous because when it was digging hats, you might find 20 styles of hat, but you'd buy like 300 or 400 or 500 of each hat. You know what I mean? So it was fun because it was exciting still, but it wasn't as interesting to me as always going for clothes.
I'm reading these comments. If anybody finds any dead stock from what Thrift Lord mentioned, Drew and I get first shot at wholesale. We will come and we will find you. Damn you, Thrift Lord. I still like you, kid, but that wasn't good. All right. Snapbacks. Snapbacks are cool, man. I like branded hats, man. I like branded hats. I'm very specific with teams. So I was never really into the team snapbacks. I'll buy any Raiders, Bulls, all that shit, all the major teams. Still to this day, I'll buy 1,000 of one graphic or one style. But I never loved snapbacks. I sold a shitload of them in my day. A shitload of them.
Yeah.
But it was never my thing, man. I like finding Polo. Tommy was huge for us for so many years. Huge.
Did you ever have any Tommy Deadstock hits?
No, but I have a really cool Tommy story. Actually, Joe had a few good Tommy Deadstock hits. Like, there was an old store in Texas that was providing for a minute. And it's so weird because he found authentic Tommy there and bootleg Tommy there. To my knowledge, that's the only time I've ever really seen that happen. But yeah, he found like some good arm print jackets, some like sailing shit, and then some like good bootleg jackets.
Yeah, that stuff is harder to find, Dad, because first of all, it was harder to get accounts for Polo and Tommy.
And it was much more expensive also.
Yes. So you weren't going to find that shit in the same stores as you were going to find FUBU typically. It was department stores that had it, but then, I don't know anyone who's ever like cleaned out a basement of a department store, which would be fucking sick if you could find one. Well, okay, wow, there you go. Because, that's where you get those more name brand type labels, right? They weren't in the hood stores.
Yeah, the hood stores are basically the bad neighborhood stores like we talked about are basically either going to be somebody who's had an account for many, many years and just can't let shit go, and then bootleg, whether you find rap tees or you find bootleg Tommy or Obama shirts. I'll buy 100,000 Obama shirts if I can, that shit is timeless, dude. It was a major time for us, and it's 12 years old now, so that's old enough, dude.
Yeah,
got over 300 Tommy pieces in the vault. Yeah, you do. Those dudes are local, man. They have a lot of Tommy.
Okay, you just mentioned the vault. So let's talk about your vault.
Oh, man.
What do you got in the vault, and when are you going to let us see the vault?
Here, in my office. I actually have a lot of it. Yeah, just a bunch of outerwear I'm into.
I gotta interrupt here. I gotta say this Kirby comment. Kirby says if you're looking for dead stock, you got to go find people with gray ponytails. Okay, gray ponytails. There's your tip of the day.
All right.
Okay. Sorry, go into it. What's in the vault?
You need plastic hangers. Thrift Lord, the only person that can make the plastic hanger work. I dropped that dude's name more than anybody today. He's just talking a lot in our live today.
We got 120 people in here. It's actually pretty popping.
Is this good?
I think so. More than I don't do this very much either, man. This is more than I've ever had.
I did one the other day while the virtual flea was happening, and I had 50 people, and I was just like, yo, this is definitely not worth the time to do this. So the vault, man, I keep way too much, dude. I'll be honest, dude. I keep way too much. My girl yells at me. My friends yell at me. The OGs yell at me. My partner yells at me, but it's for a purpose, dude. I have a lot of future plans that I want to do, and yeah, there's a lot, dude. I think that we have like just t-shirts, like 120 original Stussy t-shirts right now in the vault, which to my knowledge is probably more than anybody in America. If you have more than that, man, good for you. I'm not claiming anything. I'm just saying, as far as I've seen, I've never seen somebody with the amount that we have. And that shit has like skyrocketed, dude. I was paying like 60 to $100 for the good ones a piece, and now like it's not crazy to see a Stussy t-shirt go for $200.
Yeah, not at all. And I'm actually hyped on that because I think it's very relevant, and people need to recognize that that was the original streetwear brand. The first real streetwear brand of all time, in my eyes, that started everything that we consider skateboard culture, streetwear culture, all these different things. And that was the first, man. So it has historical relevance in everything happening right now.
Yeah. So my OG homie, we've talked about him a few times, the dude who hired me, the dude, the Strange Love deck, etc. His name is Nick. He tried to ruin Stussy for me because he was like a skateboard elitist in the 80s and 90s. And he
said it wasn't cool for the skaters.
He can't stand Stussy, dude. And every time he tries to ruin it for me, dude, I'm just like, I'm not going to let you ruin it for me, bro. Because the only thing that Joe and I collect are like the graffiti orientated graphics, bro. I don't care about that. And we have some like cut and sew. They call them like Tom shirts or whatever. I don't call them that shit. They're just cut and sew. I think that's actually what Stussy called them. But like
they're
the cut
like
and
the
sew, like
stripy
stripe
ones,
shirts.
or like the ones that have like the Rasta print.
Yes,
Okay.
we have some of those that I've never even seen before, man. We have one that they actually redid, the OG one they redid last year. It's got like skulls. If you scroll back in our feed, I have a photo.
Yeah, and I get it.
Yeah,
like, I didn't wear Stussy when I was a Grom skating. I don't know if you did. And I didn't, because I felt like it was streetwear. It was crossed over a bit into like mainstream, where like I just bought shit from the skate shops, and my skate shop didn't have Stussy. It was way more Cali. You know, we were East Coast.
Bro, you could, where I live, you could straight up buy Stussy in the mid '90s at PacSun. I mean, this is pre-PacSun being as lame as they are now. Yeah. But I actually have, I'm not going to dig it out right now. It's right in front of me. But I actually have a good OG Stussy t-shirt with a PacSun tag, PacSun hang tag.
Oh, yeah. No shit.
If anybody wants to see that later, just message me and I'll dig it out.
Yeah, and I think that's part of why it has, like, I collect it too, and I don't go out and seek it out, but every piece that I get, I
This dude talks shit to everybody. What does that mean? He says, dude, you're in Clearwater, Florida. Explain that.
Do you know him? That's Sean. That's Chonker.
No, I met him at Varsity. I remember meeting him. He bought a really cool t-shirt off us. I don't forget anything. But I'm just wondering what that means. Yeah,
what does it mean, Sean? What are you getting at?
What does that mean, sir? Throw it up right now.
Anyway,
Okay. Anyways, moving on.
Okay. Anyway, so all I'm saying is that, like, because it was that brand that was in PacSun and in other stores beyond skateboarding, it kind of was the first thing that did that. And then you had other brands that became streetwear that did that, and it just has historic significance for me.
All of that old skate stuff, dude. We have a decent collection of it. We have a t-shirt, which is kind of crazy here. This is the first time I've revealed this, but so like I said, we got a Sean Cliver graphic last year. Our Halloween t-shirt, we actually hit him up and he let us copy his original Birdhouse graphics. So that's going to be our Halloween t-shirt this year. I think it's gonna
Sick.
be very cool for some people and really bum some other people out, which I'm hyped on.
But you made it full court, right? Like you redid it? Or?
Oh yeah. But we copied his original artwork, and thank God for being cool with him. Like we straight up hit him up and was like, "Hey man, are you cool with us like straight up copying this?" And he's like, "Sure, dude. I don't care what you do. Just send me one." I was like, "Yes." That's like the kind of shit where you're like, man, like, thank God I know people, dude. You know.
Well, you got respect. You got respect in the game, dude, and that's why you get shit like that. Now that people can put a face to the name. What else we got? I don't know. What else do you want to talk about here? We got any other people want to give us some questions here? Has there been any good questions? This is actually kind of complicated to like read this shit and have like a very.
I told my girl I was gonna record this whole thing wearing. For the record, this was all my idea to do the live. It is confusing. I've had to stop read and talk at the same time.
No, it's fine. It's good. We're vibing it. People are stoked on the live. 120 people, man.
Is that good?
That's good, dude. I've only ever done a solo live like once or twice, and I got like 50 people. So this is positive.
I was very bummed the other day, but I did it during the virtual fleet. I'll try to do that shit more often. I think I'm gonna go live the next time I go to the warehouse. That'll be sick.
Just make sure there's no way they can hack into your geocache and like find your location.
I actually didn't think about that. My kids would have brought that up.
There was people that apparently, I never saw this happen, but people were saying that homies would go to spots and then post pictures, and if you knew how to like find it, you could find like the location from the picture. And I was like, that's fucking some real sleuth shit. But
you're just a creep, bro. If you're putting that much work into it, though, I will say, if it was to find Deadstock, I'll do whatever it takes. Also. But if you're using that for anything other than to find my warehouse or someone else's warehouse, you're a fucking creep, dude.
Yeah, like just to come hang out outside and like be a weirdo and.
Hey, yeah, I need to know where you are. All right, what else you got? You want to let people ask some questions?
Yeah, is any questions coming in here?
All right, ask away.
If no one's got questions, I'll get into some more.
No, you can never buy these Wu-Tang t-shirts ever, never, ever.
Oh, somebody asked before about how much shit walks into your store. So that one Wu-Tang shirt on your wall walked into your store yesterday or the day before?
Oh, yes. The black one walked in last week. I was driving back from that dig. I almost shit my pants when the dudes who work at the store sent me a photo of that shirt, dude. I'm so hyped to have that shirt. So the navy one, the Yankee color one, is their original logo. The black one this is from me doing my research, pre 36 chambers. Deadstock underwear. Yo, Deadstock underwear hits, man. If you find 70s Hanes underwear new in the package, that's free. All right.
Jock straps, people. Jock straps, even more. I told you about the one polo dig here. We had another polo dig in LA, actually. It was like in the valley somewhere. And this was a weird strip mall store. Korean couple. So again, like you said, and they had their whole store was old, man. Their whole store was old stock polo. And I remember this because you're talking about underwear, and we got like mad polo sport.
I remember that
underwear.
I actually remember that.
And we got boxers and shit. I'm pretty sure there was like polar bear boxers and even polo sport socks. And he had two locations. One was in a hotel lobby, so like you would never have found this place unless you like stayed at the hotel. You just wouldn't have wandered into the hotel, you know. And it was like a nice hotel. And we got a lot of shit from him, and he was one of those guys that was hard to deal with, but we kept going back and back and back. And then eventually, finally, we built up a rapport with this guy, and he let us come to his warehouse. And this was when the Guess Stripies were popping, right? This was when the Guess Stripies were like, they hit like, even like the basic Guess Stripey hit like $200 for a minute, right? And we came up with
Sean, once again.
Yeah. Totally.
Everybody who
100%.
sold it, everybody who sold a guest stripe t-shirt for $100 or more can thank that dude again, man.
So we came up on a shitload of dead stock, and guess who fucking bought them? Sean. Has there ever been a dead stock dig that you really wanted, that you found but you couldn't get it, or the prices were too high and you had to walk away?
Yes. And that was a mall one, dude. This dude, and now I kick myself hard for not just buying them, but there was a bunch of, and I bought some of them, but the best ones he wanted too much, and recently the store closed. But a bunch of OG leather Pele jackets. It was early on. I didn't have a super large amount of capital at the time, and yeah, that's the one that kind of haunts me, man.
So what were the
And I sold all those
price
too.
of those jackets?
He wanted 500, and I paid 300 for some of them, but I just couldn't pay the 500 at the time. Now I'm like, God, dude, I would have paid 800. It's just like, you're not finding that stuff anymore, dude. New with tags. I mean, if it exists anywhere, you know, going to that warehouse kind of like rejuvenated my digging, man. I'm like into it again. I've been off of it for a long time, dude, and it was very fun, dude. I'm gonna search for that feeling again.
Yeah.
You know?
And this is the dopamine rush that all pickers deal with and they get stoked on. You get stoked when you go find the Nirvana shirt in the bins, but imagine finding a warehouse full of Nirvana shirts. Then you're going to get really fucking stoked and juiced up. And then you're going to try to duplicate that high over and over and over again.
Yes,
you know that,
dude, it's seriously.
You remember the hit
it's
that
seriously.
No, sorry. You keep going.
I was just agreeing with you, man. That's seriously what it is, dude. That's like what. I don't even care, dude. I could have not sold it. It's almost all gone now. I left some to put in the store, and I think I have enough for like one more box I have to check tomorrow. But
yeah,
I could have not sold any of it, and the feeling is the best part.
Yeah,
I don't even care about the profit anymore.
I don't even care. It is true, man. Those are the best trips, man. Those are the best trips, and yeah, fuck. Like getting the call or finding out a lead and then going and exploring it. You're like modern day Indiana Jones shit. You're like it's archaeology, man, and you never know what you're gonna find. And then finding some of the shit, like you found some Nike stools, those sick, like they're almost like space looking ones, those circle stools, right?
We can talk about that for a minute. He wouldn't budge this past time, but the next time I'm going, here, right now, tell me what you would pay. Because it doesn't matter, because I'm not going to sell you any of them. But tell me what you would pay for one of those in the comments. If you watched my story and saw those new in the package stools, what would you pay for one? Because I have a number in my head and I'm buying all of them. There was 5, dude. 5. New in the package, dude. New in the box. With the instructions, all that shit, dude.
Instructions is
$250.
Like, sit your ass
well,
here and try on some Jordans.
For real.
Someone said 1K. Yeah. Okay. That come on. Do you think that's the value?
1,000? I'll pay 1,000 for 5 of them. Like each.
Yeah.
That shit it's different. I think vintage is going to go in a crazy direction in the next 5 years. And the same person who is buying $400 Rodman t-shirts right now is going to be more of an adult 5 years from now and want things to put in their house. I don't think 1,000 is crazy on this.
Okay. It is kind of the ultimate store fixture, and it would be dope in the right pad.
It's a light up sign. So I've had this since like my very first days of deadstock digging. And oh, there you go. There's a good shot. Still works, dude. Amazing. This is the longest I've ever had it plugged in. So that sign, dude, the day I found that sign, we're talking about probably 7 years ago, 8 years ago now. The day I found that sign, a dude offered me $2,000 for it, dude. And I was young. I was young at that time, and I didn't take it. And I'm so happy I didn't take it, because someone could offer me $5,000 for that on this live, and I would tell them no. You know, some things are just priceless to you, man. That's my Nike.
We had a neon starter sign, like a window display from a sneaker store or a sports store, and fucking smashed it not long ago. Those neon signs that aren't in a case are like so hard to fucking transport and move around, man.
Dude,
Bummer.
If you can find those not broken, it's so amazing.
Yeah.
11K.
Okay, you should buy it. Buy it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I want to talk about one other thing. So do you remember last year at some point everyone was getting all those bootleg Barts and stuff out of Denver, out of the bins, and there was like all these come ups of like crazy.
I think the story, screen printing business just donated everything to a Goodwill, and they just threw it all in a bin. David Luke's World. He's like the dude who does, one of the dudes who does.
Yeah, he's a thrift. It's a thrift con homies. Chris Neverlow saying bootleg Barts changed my life. Yeah, so that was like, you know, that's another thing to think about too. Like a lot of the dead stock that gets uncovered is somebody buys an old building and they're like, you could be a real estate investor and you buy a building and it's like full of shit. And you're like, what do I do with this crap? They're literally going to take that to Salvation Army because they don't want to deal with it. Right. So it's just interesting to note, like, and then all that shit just got dropped off at the bins in these racks. And I've heard the story and it was coming out. I don't even know if it was the bins. I think it was racks, but I guess it was coming out in Colorado for like 2 months because the thrift store.
No, I think it was bins, dude. I think it was bins.
Was it? Chris,
I remember it being like bin picks.
Oh yeah, he's Chris. Oh, Never Slexes was at the rack. Anyway, whatever it was, they were leaking it out because there was too many kids rushing the fucking spot to like get it every day. So they had to like leak it out of the back room, and it was this whole thing. Bins and racks, he says. Okay.
Bins and racks. Damn, crazy. So here's a funny off the rack story. Do you remember when like people were buying Wrangler shirts?
The denim shirts or like?
No, like the bright, stupid button ups, dude. Like
Fresh Prince styles. Hell yeah.
Do you remember all that shit?
Yeah.
So I came up on a thrift store that someone donated an entire like Western store stock to. And I bought like, I think I might have sold some of them to you guys, man. Because I had, dude, probably 500 shirts that came out of a thrift store. They were like $6 a piece, dude. And I was selling those on eBay for like 3 years, dude. I swear to God, like, they're probably for 3 straight years, Western shirts paid my electric bill, and probably more. Like I hate to even admit that, dude, but that's probably the latest come up ever.
Well, dude, I mean, those were never like hype, but they're I'll still buy those if I'm ragging, dude, and I see those, I'm still buying them. Like there's still a market.
Your business is different, though, man.
Yeah, totally. I'm not solely looking for what's hype in the moment. Like I'll buy all these different commodities, and those were. It was Wrangler. There was other brands that did them, but Wrangler had some wild ass prints, dude.
Seriously, if those were on like t-shirts, those would be really wild ass prints, dude. Money is money. Whatever, dude. I stay in my lane, dude. I sell what I sell. If you want to buy Reebok, like you can buy that from somebody else. I sell what I sell, man.
So do you you don't touch Reebok? Anything?
No, I actually am going to the next time I go back to that warehouse, but I left like 100 boxes of Reebok there. It's pretty funny. And Adidas. I bought a little bit of Adidas.
I mean, come on. If you're looking at 1,000 boxes of gear and you have to choose between Nike and Reebok, everyone's gonna fucking choose the Nike unless you're like so rookie to this business you don't know what you're doing. But
it's going straight in boxes. It'll never be in my store or on my website or anything like that.
Yeah, fair
It's
enough.
really weird. I don't know, man. It just is what it is, dude. Like I really won't put anything in my store that I don't like. I don't care what it is.
Sean says respect that. Yeah, he stays in his lane too. Okay, so I have a couple questions about being an entrepreneur, and you're now a store owner. You're 5 years into your physical location.
This is our 5th year, man.
Yeah, and this is your second
location, 5 years.
And your town is not that big. What size is how many people in your town?
I don't even know, dude. It's not that big, but I'm really close to Tampa. The scene here is just really lame. Like, kids just don't know yet, dude.
So talk to us about like
they don't know what they fucking have, dude. They don't know what they have, dude. Once my scene catches on and like knows what they have, like, wow, there's a store that switches their inventory every week and does all this crazy shit for you. Like, it'll work, but I'm being patient with it. But my area is one of the lamest areas of America by far. Sorry, guys. Yeah. For the people who know, you know.
How many locals we got watching this? So the reason I got to comment on this thing for a second. So fucking Sean says I don't want to be Rally Root selling air fryers. Respect to that. But okay. Yes, I am like a multifaceted vintage seller. I sell all kinds of shit. And a long time ago, we got offered a deal, right? We got offered a deal to get Lululemon store returns. I never even spoke about this on the podcast. I don't think. And I'm like, I don't want to fucking touch Lululemon. What the fuck is this? This is like shit from like yesterday or the last couple years. I'm like, I don't want this shit.
What is Lululemon?
Lululemon
is like
clothing? It's like those ass pants, like tight spandex pants that like blew up in the last like, I don't know, 10 years.
Oh yeah, I definitely would not sell that.
So what happened is this guy kept bugging me to buy this shit, and I'm like, I don't want to mess with it. I don't want to mess with it. He was getting like containers of this shit. I took some, and I'm like, fine, I'll try to sell it. I put some on Craigslist, like just locally. I was getting like hundreds of ladies coming by my house eventually to buy this shit out of my garage. It was crazy. I would like cash out. I don't know. Some days, literally, I would pocket 15 grand cash straight in my pocket from these women coming by my house buying these ass pants, and I'm like, holy shit! But what we did with all that money is we reinvested it into fucking snapbacks. We took all that Lululemon money and we bought a shitload of fucking hats. And without that Lululemon money, I don't know if we would have been where we were with the hats, because we didn't have money when we started F as in Frank. Like, it took capital to get all those fucking hats.
Dude, can I use the bathroom really quick? I'm down to keep talking. Can I just like a 2-minute break?
I'll just keep the crowd going here. I'll keep the crowd warmed up.
Yeah, keep them going, Drew.
Well, we got 140 in here now. Look at that. Yeah, that was exactly what it was. We made a bunch of money off something that we didn't care about, but we couldn't pass it up. It also was strengthening our relationship with one of our suppliers, and then we invested all that money into what we really truly were into, which was like snapbacks and streetwear. The video game key market is popping. I can understand it. I got a regular Nintendo in 1988. I think it was 1988 Christmas when it came out, and I was into that shit. But I will say, this isn't about the video game tea market, but fuck, my kids are getting addicted to video games, man. It's scary shit.
Thank God for fishing. Mine aren't.
See, that's sweet.
I'm sorry, bro. Bro, tell them to go fish the stream. You guys got brown trout and shit out there, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. Summer was good. We've been crushing. They've been playing in the tree fort and like hanging. They do boat races down the stream and they fuck around. It's definitely good, but technology is scary these days, man, and you gotta monitor it for sure.
Tone down. OG Digger, that's the other owner of Boneyard, man. He's found so much shit. It's sickening, dude. Sickening.
Yeah, so we need to have you guys on the show as well, and I've reached out to both you guys, I believe, and asked you to come on the show. But we should do a group podcast with like a few guys.
Good luck getting those dudes to do anything. Yeah, I said it, Tone. You're not going to do anything.
Where were we at? I finished up my Lululemon story, talking about reinvesting.
I was listening to that, and I heard you talking to that Dead Union dude. That dude's an OG, by the way. Shout out that dude. Is that the dude who came up on a bunch of like, not like traditional bootleg rap tees, like double-sided ones. Didn't he come up on a bunch of like other shit? I can't remember exactly what it was. Like maybe some like Public Enemy shirts or something.
Oh yeah,
Is that him?
The Canadian rap tees, man. There was Kirby will jump in here, I'm sure, but there was Two Live Crews.
Yes, that's what it was.
And they were
Okay.
like rainbow colored prints. I got a bunch of those too from the same guy. That guy who we both got those from he had like a head shop that was he was making his own bootlegs back in the 90s, and he had a 90s like weed brand called Spliff that was kind of dope because I even rocked it when I was a kid, and then I got some of the Deadstock, but on the mass market, it's not very popular. But that was a cool little dig. And Kirby's good at finding shit locally. Like he's got a lot of digs, man, out of Vancouver.
Oh yeah, and NWA. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was NWA shit too. I remember I wanted to buy a bunch off them, but that was like pre me having capital to be serious. Like I said, dude, my first major come up, dude, it was me and my girl, and she was tripping, dude. Like she really was like, "Are you sure you're cool to spend like all of our rent money?" You know, and that was a long time ago. Now we own our own house and we're good and we're hyped. But yeah,
and that's about like taking the risk. Again, talking about Deadstock and doing these buys. If you find shit and you believe in it, and you know, a lot of people on my podcast have talked about this. We already mentioned you got to have your bread up to go do this.
Yeah.
Like, don't be scared to fucking go in. Like, if you believe this shit is good, you know, in the early days, we were a bit hesitant to go super, super deep. Like we were doing digs for 10 grand, 20 grand often, but there was times when we could have probably spent 50 grand, you know?
Yeah, sure.
It's a balance though, because we didn't have that money either. So it's kind of like, what are you going to do? Go fucking borrow money off your mom to like go spend 50 grand on hats? It's kind of sketch, but I don't know. You got to find your own balance.
Is that what it was? Were they $5 a piece?
Me? You asking?
Yeah.
Oh,
the 10,000.
Oh, dude, we started getting hats at $3 a piece, man. No, like all the good digs were like mostly like $3 a piece. And then as the market caught on, it went up to $5, and you're paying $8. And I think like while we got out of it, you know, we were paying like 8 to 10 for like good when we buy a lot, and then we'd go and buy, you know, we'd buy like smaller loads for like $20 a hat if it was the right shit. But yeah, originally the original digs were like $3.50, $4 a hat.
And that was all the same place, right? Weren't they like the distributor?
Well, we had this guy we called Gramps who hooked it up, and then he kind of put us on to some other guys because he started, once we were buying from him, he was the distributor, and then he started buying hats back from all the people he sold to over the years. He was hitting up his whole client list going like, who's got hats left from that era that I sent to, and send them back to me. So he was out doing his own digging to get us shit. And then whoever else started going to him, and it was this big network.
I want to speak on that. Somebody said that the good Deadstock will always run out. I mean, how does that make sense? Because there's clothing being made now. So in 10 years, that will be, the leftovers will be Deadstock. So good Deadstock will never run out. Granted, they're not making cool shit now, but think about all of the reseller stores, the people who are collecting vintage right now who don't really care about this shit, that in 5 years their moms are going to donate it, and then whatever, dude.
That's the same argument that people used to ask me when I got in this business. What happens when vintage isn't cool? And I'm like, you don't even understand this market at all for asking that question. It just moves. It's always cool. It just changes.
Find a different job. There's a lot of people doing this right now that should find different jobs.
And
if you're good at this, I love you. If you suck at this, I don't like you very much. Sorry.
Well, there's 130 of them on here. I can't.
Is that a lot?
All of them. That's a lot. There was 140 per minute.
I can vouch for a good amount of people in here.
Yeah.
Shit's lost in warehouses all the time.
Back to
that, man, all the time.
Back to Dead Union for a second. So yeah, he's found a lot of digs, but if people don't know the history with Dead Union is from Australia.
It worked for y'all, right?
Yeah, he worked for us for a lot of years picking. And him and another employee of ours, John, had a band called Dead Union for like years and years and years. And they even had their jam space set up in our warehouse for a minute on the skate ramp. They used to jam on our skate ramp in our warehouse. So Dead Union's been the homie for a long, long time.
That's awesome, man. I like that dude, man. He's good at his job. Shout out to people who are good at their job, man.
Shout out to you
I
guys
like y'all.
if you're good at your fucking job.
If you suck, sorry. All right, let's get like a couple more questions. Let's get a couple more questions, and then I mean, is this like long enough to do the podcast? Is it?
Oh yeah, dude.
Enough?
We're almost an hour and a half now.
See, I thought like 30 minutes, dude. I didn't think I'd last 30 minutes, man. I'm hyped.
Good one, dude.
Who's the other dude? It's Dead Union, and then there's like another dude who sells like super similar shit that I've been following forever. I can't remember.
Shout out, Nam. Who I don't know, like from where? From Canada?
I think he was from Canada, man. I think he was from Canada. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to be able to remember.
Anyway, shout out Canada. There's a lot of heads in Canada doing it right now.
I guess we can let another cat out of the bag. I'm going to make a book in the next year or two, like highlighting my collection and other people who have similar collections. And I'm going to do a whole like chapter on copies, not just Supreme copies, other people copying other people, because in reality, man, if you're good at your job, you've copied someone. Honestly, there's nothing new to be created. You know what I mean? You're in some way or another taking inspiration from someone. So yeah. I don't really want to answer any questions about the book because it's not going to happen for a minute. But yeah, well, that's going to happen for sure. That's one reason why I'm saving as much as I'm saving.
Yeah, everything is inspired by something else. It's basically fact. You know, fashion runs on an 18-year cycle, but people are digging. You know, you've probably sold to lots of designers that have used shit you've had.
Oh yeah, dude, for sure. Right? Oh yeah. I'll give you the crazy Tommy Hilfiger story. Yeah, man. I mean, dude. Yeah. So.
Warren Lotus. People are hitting. Shout that guy out anyway.
We used to sell all the time to Supreme, dude. All the time. They were buying off eBay. They were buying off our site. And that was sick, dude. Supreme is my favorite brand, dude. I fuck with those dudes really, really heavy. I like just about everything they do. And yeah, they bought off us for a really long time. They don't do that anymore.
Did you have direct contact with some of the designers?
No, because we never overstepped our boundaries, man. Like I have a lot of respect for those dudes. I know that they try to like keep that shit under wraps. Like a few times I sent them like handwritten messages like early on when I was like younger. But yeah, dude, I honestly think the handwritten message got them to. You've got your hats behind you. What, babe? That's my lady. I don't know what you. Where was I?
You gave him a handwritten message. You gave him a handwritten message.
Oh yeah. So I wrote a handwritten message. Right? They bought it like a crazy expensive polo hat, on our eBay, and then I wrote like a handwritten message, and then like. I would say like the next major drop we did. So somebody was watching the Instagram. The next major drop we did, they bought like 5 things off our website. And we were so fucking hyped, dude. This was probably like 6 years ago. 5 years ago. But dude, we were so hyped, dude. It was a highlight. I'll tell you the Tommy Hilfiger story because this is a legit story. So if you remember old school Full Court, we sold a lot of Tommy Hilfiger. We were selling Tommy Hilfiger when I can remember going on eBay and there being under 100 things when you would search vintage Tommy Hilfiger. That's how long we've been selling Tommy Hilfiger. We don't really sell it that much anymore. It kind of fell off, but whatever. Chapter 4 Corp. Yeah, that dude knows. He already knows. So some lady who worked at Tommy Hilfiger hit up the other owner on his eBay, and we started talking to her, and then started talking to his brother, and I think we even had some like talks with him. This was really all Joe handling it, but we ended up selling Tommy like $20K worth of his own shit back to him, which we thought was hilarious, dude. Like, they were just trying to like build their own archive.
Yeah.
And that was like our major like first thing where we're like, holy shit, dude, like we might be able to make a legit business out of this. And we had never had like a $20,000 day before, you know what I mean? So that was huge for us.
So that was out of your original store? They actually came?
Yes.
Nice.
Oh, no. We mailed it all to them.
Yeah, okay.
But dude, I mean, we charged them literal full retail.
Yeah.
We charged them $500 for Lotus shorts, $1,000 for Lotus jackets, $250 for Lotus t-shirts. They paid full retail for all that shit, dude. We didn't hook it up at all, dude.
And
then we still have
something to talk about. It's like when you know it's a designer or it's going to an archive. Like if Polo Ralph Lauren walks into your booth at the Rose Bowl, you know, and there's something about them where you can just tell instantly. Like they have a different air about them. Designers versus like vintage heads or other dealers, and always full price. Always taxing full price. Come on.
Always full price, dude. Or you look like a chump, man. Like you're devaluing yourself, man. These people have money to build their archives, to remake their products that they made. Me, I'll never have to do that, man. I keep a stock of everything Full Court makes. I have plenty of everything, man. I'll never have to buy off somebody else to buy my own shit back. I find that crazy. Here's my dog. Hey, doggy.
Your archive must be sick. And the other thing about designers buying this shit, they're going to potentially make that one t-shirt or that one jacket into 50,000 more jackets.
Sure.
Imagine the
sure. They can pay $1,000 for a jacket, you know?
Yeah, they're going to go make like $5 million off this garment, and fuck, they can afford to pay $1,000 for it. So tax full price.
We've sold to always full price when it comes to that kind of shit, man. Always full price. Unless I don't really even have an unless, dude. Even if they like want to eventually work with you on a normal basis, whatever. We have sold to Ralph too several times. Like Ralph designers have hit us up. Will Instagram vintage culture have a long-standing impact on it for years to come? That just looked like an interesting question.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. The Instagram vintage thing, man, is crazy right now. I don't know what to say about it. What do you say about that shit, Drew?
I think, yes, it will have a long-standing impact. I think I've talked about this before. I think though they're going to come in, I think Instagram and Facebook's going to want a piece of it, man. They're going to want to take some money somehow. I don't know how they're going to do that.
I was just saying that to my girl, man. Yeah,
they're not going to make it as easy as it is right now just to utilize their platforms. Just like in the early days of Facebook, we used to be able to like have an event and shout, like send our store sale or store party to like 5,000 people. Then they cut that and they made you pay for that. So eventually they're going to make you pay for doing this or having a live auction or some shit. But I think it's going to have an impact, man. It's putting so many more people on the map right now. People on the map, but also like there's people that are in like, there was an article in fucking New York Financial Post, right? Whatever it was. And then there was,
the $6,000 t-shirt.
There was an article on Vice. Then there was an article on fucking, like everybody else picked up that article and wrote their own article. I just think, watch out. There's going to be documentaries. There's going to be more media coverage. And it's going to start from Instagram and then it's going to blow up into main media. And that's when you're going to see shit get wild. I don't know exactly how, but we'll see.
I'm trying to find out a way that is cool with me to show my collection. I haven't fully done that yet. I mean, pre-book, like that's my ultimate goal. And that's just going to take some time. My dude who I saw, he was in here already. Tags and Threads just made the champion book. It takes a little more. And man, it was hard listening to him, all the shit he had to go through to do that. But I'm definitely going to do it, whether it's just like a magazine. It might not be quite as crazy as his, because his is like legit.
Yeah, that book is sick.
But like no one even knows, dude. I mean, I've told you that personally. Like,
yeah,
no one knows. It's pretty crazy.
but I mean, I feel like I gave him shout out a couple times already, and I feel like a lot of people bought the book. Hopefully, if you haven't yet, go buy that book because he's going to sell out pretty fast.
Please go buy my friend's book.
Yeah, it takes a little more. I think. What's the website? Do you even know? It's like
It takes a little more.com, I believe.
Yeah, go buy that book because everyone's always asking for free game. This is free game. Buy the book. You get the game. It's not free.
Dude,
but
buy
cheap.
the book. It's like $40, and it's literally it answers every question about Champion you could ever have. And this is something that a lot of people don't know about that shit. That information did not exist. That information didn't come off Google, didn't come off Wikipedia. It didn't come off fucking La La Land. Like, that dude got in his car, he drove to North Carolina where it started or whatever, or New York, Rochester, whatever. He started somewhere, and then it was like an investigative reporting, dude. It's amazing. Nobody's ever done anything like that. And if you can't respect that, you can just eat shit.
Someone just said if you could spend $400 on a tee, you can spend $40 on a book.
Exactly.
Yeah, 100%.
6,000, dude. Like,
and
come on, man.
And $40 on a book is a fucking steal. I've bought vintage books for like $200 before, you know. And when you think about all that knowledge and all that time and all that energy and the amount of shit that you're going to see in that one book would take you way more than a lifetime to ever actually see in the wild.
I wish I had a copy right in front of me. I bought them for the store, and I have a copy. I gave my kids a copy, and dude, I love it, dude. It's the Champion Bible, dude. Yeah, I would love to eventually do something like that. And the crazy thing is, not similar, but Champion books exist, but they're all in Japanese. So, you know, we're going to learn how to speak Japanese to read a book about Champion. Like, no, this dude did all the work for you. Go buy one. Or
yeah. And even,
like I said,
even if you buy those Japanese books, typically they're magazines. It's like free and easy.
Yeah.
They're great. You'll get a lot of resources out of it. You might pick up a date because you can read that. That's the only thing you can read probably. And then each episode has a little bit of info, but you're not going to find one that has that much targeted info. And I have a shitload of those free and easies like on my bookshelf right next to me, and other vintage books. And I've been promoting the shit out of it. That's how you learn. You got to do your research.
That's how you learn, bro. That's how you learn. And I'm going to answer the question about Pixar shirts from your boy in a minute. But that is something else that the kids who are doing this now don't realize, dude. Y'all don't have to put in any work. All of the work is done for you. Dudes like Drew, dudes like Chris doing 1980 something where all they do is talk about vintage for hours at a time. All of the eBay listings that exist now that never existed. It's like y'all have a tutorial, dude. We never had that. Drew and I didn't have that, man. We figured out everything on our own. I remember hitting you up and you hitting me up about like different ways to ship internationally, and like you and I have been talking through Instagram for a long, long time now, right?
Fully, man.
I mean, years. But yeah, the information is out there. Like, if you have to ask more questions now, you're just doing the wrong thing, man. Like, go get a job, go to school, like, do something that comes naturally to you. Because all the questions are answered for you, man.
Somebody wants the book name again. It's called It Takes a Little More. It's a vintage Champion book. It takes a little more. Okay, answer the question about the Pixar shirts.
I am hyped on the Pixar shirt thing. I'm not hyped on those shirts going for $1,000. I don't think that those are $1,000 shirts. The shirt I'm wearing is a $1,000 shirt, even though I don't even think they go for $1,000. Those are $1,000 shirts. There's some $1,000 jackets on this rack. A Toy Story shirt isn't really a $1,000 item. I'm sorry. If you want to pay that, that's fine. But I'm hyped on the Pixar shirts because it brings back like memories of like watching those movies with my kids. Because that's like how old they are. We watched those movies when they were 2, 3, 4 years old. So I like seeing those shirts, and I remember those shirts. And much respect to y'all who are getting $1,000 for that shit, man. Going on those virtual fleas. I've been tuning in and buying some shit off there myself, man. And what that dude has done is, I'll never hate on creativity ever, and it's very creative and it's very sick. I back that dude 100%.
Nice,
I'm
nice.
not a hater. I'm not one.
Yeah, dude, I like that. You know, you can have opinions on lots of things, but it's true. It's hard to bash creativity and someone who's, see, I think it's the ultra salty people that hate on that creativity and that innovation within our space, right? And you put it so good, man. You can't hate on creativity, dude.
The 3K heart-shaped box shirt I get, because I understand. And I was actually just talking to Thrift Lord about this the other day. That kid has like a fucking Nirvana magnet, bro.
Dude, it's crazy. I've told him that too. It's fucked up.
That dude has found more Nirvana t-shirts than anybody on earth that I'm aware of. And he's never found that shirt. I've personally never owned that shirt.
Oh, I mean, we've had it at least 3-4 times.
Well, that's crazy. Y'all go through thousands of units weekly, but to see that kid has never had that shirt means that that's very rare. And I'll address the kid who said, "Why can't the Pixar shirts go for $1,000?" They made a ton of those, man. A ton. There's a warehouse somewhere out there with thousands of those sitting in them, man. That was like baseball cards being printed 10 million at a time. There's plenty of Disney, Pixar, all that kind of t-shirt.
That's a good thing too. Did you take your kids to Disneyland or Disney World back in those days?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
would there be
we spent
Pixar
Christmas one year there?
Would there be Pixar shirts at the Disney World shop back in that era?
Oh, for sure, dude. For sure. For sure. All that shit.
Because you don't seem to see them. You don't seem to see the Pixar stuff coming out as much as like the traditional Disney stuff. At least I don't. I hardly get a Pixar shirt. So maybe they're out there. Maybe they just haven't even been That's another thing too. People donate on a weird timeline. So they're a bit newer. So maybe they haven't been like sent off to the donations yet, where we're finding them more and more, because that's also a thing, right? Like, you tend to find things in a weird cycle of when people are finally going to get rid of something. But
it does happen in a weird cycle. I agree with that. As soon as somebody hits big, you know who else we didn't mention in this, who is the OG deadstock digger? This dude was digging for now 20 years ago. Wax and Threads Vintage, my dude in Knoxville, Tennessee. OG. Love that dude. He fucking kills it.
I have a sticker from him on my freaking sticker wall in my office here. He sent me some shit a while ago. He is an OG. Shout out Wax and Threads for sure.
That dude was buying stuff like 20 years ago that's starting to hit now, man. Way early, dude. Way early. I like that dude a lot, man. I hope someone tells him that I shouted him out, because he's one of my favorites.
I'm sure he'll hear about it. Okay, dude. I don't know. Is there any other questions? We might cut it. We're looking at like almost 2 hours.
Is that too long?
No.
It seems like a long time.
It is, but it was good. Someone just said this was the best live they've ever seen.
That's right.
How about that?
We don't fuck around, baby. We're full court. I'm just playing.
Never end this live, he says. Wyco's been in the game, but I don't know if Wyco dug too much vintage. Wyco was like heavy rock tea guy.
Yeah, that dude's been in the game for a long time, bro. For sure.
Oh yeah, he was OG
eBay seller. OG eBay seller. For sure. I appreciate everybody's love, man. It's taken me a long time to do this, and yeah, I appreciate all the love.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for coming on. I'm
man.
Stoked. Your face was revealed on my live. It's going to be on my podcast. You're a true OG, man, and I appreciate you. Your store is epic.
Thank you, my brother.
This was a lot of fun. Keep digging that fucking dead stock, and to the listeners, go out and get yours.
Thank you, my friend. Talk soon.
Okay, talk soon, buddy.
Thank you for tuning in. That was super fun episode. We did it live, did it for the people, had a lot of people tuned in. It was good shit. Now, if you want to support me, you know I always bust this out. The Patreon, go hit up my Patreon. Please, I drop mad content on there, exclusive content that you can only find there. Business advice, life advice, all that good stuff. Check out my Patreon, link down below. Also, if you want to learn more about vintage clothing, go check out my Amazon link down below. Buy a book, put it in your brain cavity, learn something, and shop effersandfrankvintage.com with 35% off with code VTG and stuff. Again, link and code down below. And if you want to mess with that good rework product, as you know, I own Frankie Collective. Go check the link down below. Shop women's vintage and rework vintage on frankiecollective.com down below. Please subscribe, like this video, subscribe on iTunes. Stay tuned. Follow me on Instagram. Mad more episodes coming up. We out.